Okay, so this question you found the answer as this root 2z by z square minus 2 root 2z plus 4. So now let's go on to the next question. This is sixth question. So the seventh question. Let's do the seventh question right now. Yes, this is the question. Seventh question is x of n is equal to n into a raised to n u of n. Right? Seventh question. X of n is equal to a raised to, you see, n into a raised to n. N into a raised to n u of n. Okay. So here, so now we know which property you need to apply. Here you need to apply the scaling property and also the multiplication by n property, right? So let's apply here. First we apply the equation z of u of n. We know that the z transform of u of n is 1 by 1 minus z inverse. On other way, with the magnitude of z is greater than 1. This can also be written as z by z minus 1, where the magnitude of z is greater than 1. So like that I found the z transform of u of n. So now we know that z transform of a raised to n x of n is nothing but x of a inverse z, right? A inverse z. I mean, this is a function of a inverse z, which means replace every z with a inverse z. So this therefore is a transform of a raised to n u of n, right? Is a transform of a raised to n u of n is nothing but a inverse z by a inverse z minus 1. Right? If I am going to rewrite this, if I want to rewrite this, then this will become z by a minus 1. Or in other words, this will become this a comes over here, so it becomes z minus a by a. That by a and this a gets cancelled, so you will get z by z minus a. So which means that is a transform of a raised to n u of n is nothing but z by z minus a, and the ROC is that magnitude of z is greater than a. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply multiplication by n property, right? So what is multiplication by n property? It states that the z transform of n x of n is nothing but minus z d by dz of x of z minus z into d by dz of x of z, right? Here x of z is z by a, which means that the z transform of n a raised to n u of n is nothing but minus z d by dz of z by z minus a. Right? So I need to differentiate this and then multiply with minus z, then you get your answer. So which means it is nothing but minus z by, so differentiating this is u by v. So the differentiation property is that v into du, that is z minus a into du is 1 minus u into dv. U is z and dv is also 1, right? So minus z by v square is z minus a the whole square, right? That's the equation we are going to apply. So here this z and this z will get cancelled, very good, and this minus becomes plus, so this becomes a z by z minus a the whole square. Okay, and there is no change in the ROC. ROC is that magnitude of z is greater than a. So this is how we solve the question. Alright, so let's do the next question. We did the seventh question. Now let's do the eighth question. Okay, eighth question. Eighth question is x of n is equal to alpha raised to n minus 2 into u of n minus 2. Now let's do this question. X of n is equal to alpha raised to n minus 2 into u of n. Let me memorize this question, also I have to turn the page again and again. So this becomes x of n is equal to alpha raised to n minus 2 into u of n minus 2. Okay. See, basically, if you can see here, one trick of this question is that both the power of alpha and this u of n that you see, this u of this function, both of them have the equal shifting of n minus 2, right? So in this kind of a question, if you see these kind of constants, that is n, same shift occurring in every value of n, right? Every value of n is shifted by 2 seconds, right? So which means if you see the same shifting value for every n, then in that case, that this means that you can first solve this problem without the shift. remove the shift, assume there is no shift, okay, and then you find the answer, and then you apply the time shifting property. That will be make the problem much more easier, right? So you see here also it is n minus 2, here also is n minus 2, which means that first you find the Z transform of alpha raised to n u of n. Find the Z transform of alpha raised to n u of n, and then you apply the shifting property of x of n minus 2. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do here. So that will be very easy for me, right? So here it will be I know that the Z transform of u of n is nothing but 1 by 1 minus Z inverse, which is nothing but Z by Z minus 1, right? And the magnitude of Z is greater than 1. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is that therefore Z, we know that Z transform of a raised to n x of n is nothing but x of a inverse Z, right? A inverse Z, which means that Z transform of alpha raised to n u of n is nothing but replace every Z that you see here with alpha inverse Z. So which means this will become alpha inverse Z by alpha inverse Z minus 1, or this is nothing but Z by alpha minus 1. Or in other words, this will become Z by Z minus alpha. So see, now you have found the Z transform of this alpha raised to n u of n. Okay, so now I have applied the Z transform of alpha raised to n u of n. So now if I am going to apply the shifting theorem, so now if I apply shifting theorem, what happens is that every value of n that you see here will be shifted equally. So that means here, luckily in this question it is n, here you need to shift, here is shifted by 2 seconds, here also it's shifted by 2 seconds, which means that all I need to do is simply apply the time shifting property in this equation by 2 seconds. That's all. Okay, which means that we already know according to time shifting property that the Z transform of x of n minus 2 is nothing but Z raised to minus 2 x of Z, because all the initial conditions are equal to 0. So Z minus 2 Z raised to minus 2 x of Z. Okay, and here given question x of n, we found it is alpha raised to n u of n. So if it is x of n minus 2, then this is nothing but alpha raised to n minus 2 into u of n minus 2, which is your given question. See, so all I need to do is find the Z transform of this. So which means that this is nothing but the Z transform of alpha raised to n u of n minus 2, right, is nothing but Z raised to minus 2, and here your x of Z that you have found earlier is Z by Z minus alpha, Z by Z minus alpha, right, which is nothing but Z raised to minus 1 by Z minus alpha, Z raised to minus 1 by Z minus raised to minus 1 by Z minus alpha. Oh. So this, so and here the ROC is basically nothing but magnitude of Z is greater than alpha. Okay, in other words, this can be written as 1 by Z into Z minus alpha, and the magnitude of Z is greater than alpha. This is your answer. Okay. Okay. Let's do the next question. Let's do this question also. Then with that we can stop this video. This 9th question, that is 2 into 3 raised to n u of minus n. Okay, let's do this question also. So here given x of n is equal to 2 into 3 raised to n u of minus n. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is, alright, so here we know what you have to do, right? First we know the equation of Z raised to u of n. Z raised to u of n is nothing but 1 by 1 minus Z inverse, which is equal to Z by Z minus 1. So we found that, and then we know that the Z transform of x of minus n is nothing but x of Z inverse, which means that replace every Z with Z inverse, which means Z transform of u of minus n is nothing but Z inverse by Z inverse minus 1. Okay, which is nothing but 1 by Z by 1 by Z minus 1, which is nothing but let me see, this z gets cancelled, so it will become 1 by z by 1 minus z by z. That z and this z will get cancelled, you get 1 by 1 minus z. Right? So this is the z transform of this, and the magnitude of z becomes opposite, right? Here the magnitude of z is greater than 1, and here if you apply the time reversal property, the region of convergence becomes reversed, which means magnitude of z is less than 1. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the scaling property. That is, we know that the z transform of a raised to n x of n is nothing but x of a inverse z, right? X of a inverse z. So here it is, the value of a is 3, or in other words, z transform of 3 raised to n x of n is nothing but x of 3 inverse z, which is nothing but x of z by 3, which means this is a function of z by 3, which means replace every z with z by 3. That's all. Which means that the z transform of 3 raised to n u of minus n is nothing but 1 by 1 minus, replaces z with z by 3, so it becomes z 1 by 1 minus z by 3. This is nothing but 3 by 3 minus z. 3 by 3 minus z. Okay. And the magnitude of this is, or the ROC of this is, here before it was magnitude of z less than 1. So when you apply this a raised to n formula, this becomes less than 3. The ROC is magnitude of z becomes less than 3. Okay, so the question is 2 into, so just simply multiply the given answer with 2, that's all. Is a transform of 2 into 3 raised to n u of minus n is equal to 2 into 3 by 3 minus z. Magnitude of z is less than 3, or in other words, this becomes 6 by 3 minus z. This is your final answer. Okay. Oh my god.